So I was up at the lake last weekend and we were in line to launch, and there was this poor guy who was trying to get his boat in the water, and you could tell that it was his first time, or one of his first times. He had a terrible time. He kept jackknifing the boat as he was backing it down, and he just had all kinds of problems. And it was really unfortunate because you had people there yelling at him, and they were not very patient. You had jet skiers yelling at the guy. Can you imagine? I mean, it was kind of sad. Anyway, as I watched this poor guy, I mean, I could sympathize with him. We've all been there, we've all done that. But I thought, hey, what a good idea to put together the definitive video about how to get your boat ready, how to get it out of your garage, how to hook it up to your tow vehicle, and how to get it to the lake and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to show you everything you need to know about how to get your boat ready to launch it. If you just get a brand new boat for the first time, they don't always tell you this, and especially if you buy it from a second party, no one's going to tell you how to do this kind of stuff. So I hope the stuff that you see in this video will make your day a little more pleasant the first time you take that boat out. Well, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get that boat hooked up, and let's get on our way to the lake. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the trailer hitch. Okay, so you've got a receiver on your vehicle, and the trailer hitch fits into that. You've got a cotter pin, and you've got the bolt that actually locks the trailer hitch into your car. You slide it in like that. Now, I get the cotter pin, and when I get that cotter pin in there, I want to make sure it's in and locked. There we go. And even make sure it's down. You want to wait for that click to occur. There we go. Now that thing is in there. You don't have any problem worrying about this thing sliding out as you're going down the lake. Next thing I do here is I want to get my tongue on my trailer set up. A lot of boats come with these swing away tongues like this, so you can get them into your garage. Again, we have another locking pin and a cotter pin that we use to secure the trailer. Okay, so I get this pin clicked in. And I like to use the flashlight again just to make sure that everything is in there the right way. Yeah. Okay, so now I want to remove the chock from the tire. You gotta always have your boat secured in the garage or wherever you store it. You don't want that thing rolling down the street. So pull this out. Now, one of the things we want to be aware of is the engine in the back is trimmed down. So right now the engine is in a downward trim position, and I can't pull it out of the garage with it in the downward trim position because it'll drag on the ground and possibly damage the lower unit. So we're going to lift that up a little bit to allow us to move the boat. Okay, so now I'm going to trim that engine up a little bit because like I said, we don't want it to drag on the ground. So I got a front of the boat trim button here that I'm going to hit, a couple of pushes on it, and then that lifted it up. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pull the boat and get it onto the trailer hitch. So the chock has been removed, so I'm just going to That's always a good sound when you hear that. Okay, next thing we're going to do is make sure that the lock is on the trailer ball. Let's go ahead and make sure first of all that that I've got this on the right way. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got the lock. This actually locks the trailer hitch in place, and we want to secure that. We want to secure that with another cotter pin. A lot of this stuff we're going to be doing in the dark, so it's always good to have your flashlight ready. It's got a little ball on it that causes it to get locked into place. Then I'm going to check that to make sure that it's in the right place and safe. Okay, the next thing we want to do here is we want to do the brake. Hooking it up to the frame of the car will cause it to lock. And next we've got the safety cables. Okay, we have 2 safety cables, and it's always a good idea to kind of wrap these, because they're gonna not only secure the boat to the trailer, but they're gonna serve as a kind of a cradle if the boat was to come undone from the vehicle. Okay. All right, and finally we got our electronics. This is the adapter that you are going to need to hook your trailer lights and brakes to your vehicle. Okay, this plugs into the vehicle, this plugs into the trailer lights. So we get our cord here. Make sure they're connected. And we'll plug them in to the receiver that's right here. This is another one of those things you got to kind of just feel your way around, and you're looking for a click. Okay, and I am done. Okay, so we've got our boat hooked up to our vehicle now, and it's time for us to pull the boat out of the garage. You might remember earlier we trimmed the motor up a little bit because we wanted to have clearance coming down the driveway. We also want to make sure that we watch out for some other things. This particular thing on a lot of garage doors, they have this support rod that goes across the top of it, and that'll ding the top of your motor if you're not careful. So when we pull the boat out, it's going to be in a couple of different stages. Pulling it out, making sure we clear this, and then pulling it out on the street. Our last step is to put the motor tote on the back of the trailer transom so that we can support the engine as we're driving down the road. Most engines have a trim button back here that you can do this with. Okay, so one of your first obstacles as you're pulling your new boat is you're going to pull in to get gasoline. And one thing that you need to know, and trust me, I've learned this the hard way, is that gas pumps have concrete barriers that are up to make sure people don't crash into gas pumps. And when you pull in to get gas in your car, you just pull right in, it's not a big deal. But when you're pulling a boat, you got to make sure you swing out wide, because if you don't, your trailer's going to clip that, and you're going to end up taking out a fender or one of your side lights or something like that. So make sure you come out nice and wide around that. One of the things I like to do when I stop for gas on the way to the lake, and I always try to make sure I stop for gas on the way to the lake. I stop early in the trip, gives me a chance to walk around the rig one more time to make sure everything's in place, make sure none of the cotter pins have popped loose, make sure the straps are tightened down. You're a couple blocks away and go through one more safety check. It's just kind of a routine I go through. Okay, so you want to make sure you do your setup in the parking lot. A lot of people pull up to the ramp and then they start putting their boat together, getting their stuff ready to go, and all that really does is slows everybody else down. So it's a good idea to come to the parking lot, load up your boat, take your time, and then you're ready to go.
As we ran down the hill, it's gathering in darkness with a pissed off God's will. Now Zeus is at my heels, 'cause I defied divine plan. For the love of this woman, I brought fire to man. She said, what's your name? I said, there's much to discuss, but the humans below call me Prometheus.
Okay, so it's always important that if you're going to operate a boat, you wear a life vest, and you clip it in. And the operator of the boat also has a kill switch, which should be attached on a lanyard to your vest. Kill switch goes right here. When you put it in and flip the switch up, now the engine can turn over, now the engine will run. This is a safety measure that's designed, should you ever get thrown from the cockpit of the boat, it'll pull a switch, and this will automatically shut the engine off. There's been a lot of tragic disasters that have occurred because drivers and boats don't use the kill switch. You get thrown, it's very easy to get thrown from the cockpit of a boat, especially if you're going fast. If you get thrown from the cockpit and you do not have a kill switch set up, that boat's going to keep going until it runs out of gas. This is the crucial part. This is where you want to make sure that you get yourself lined up and back yourself straight down. You use your mirrors, and you don't have to go too fast. You can just keep adjusting as you're backing up. You want to put that boat back. Keep moving it back until you see the boat start to wobble. That's when it's floating up off the trailer, and that's the point when you can stop the car. If you're launching by yourself, it's probably a good idea to turn off the engine, put the car in brake, and then you can come back and you can unhook the boat, give it a good push, get it back in the water, and you're on your way. It's a good idea to also make sure that trolling motor is not plugged in at the moment that you're climbing into the boat. Nothing worse than accidentally stepping on the trolling motor foot pedal, and you could really injure yourself pretty good. Give yourself a pretty good whack if you were to do that. Now, when I'm launching by myself, I like to keep the boat kind of on the trailer. I like to get that engine started. I like to motor myself off the trailer the rest of the way. I just feel better about it that way. If you launch and for some reason the engine doesn't start right away, you could have some problems. And again, you're gonna have a lot of people there at the ramp, and you don't want to put a show on for everybody. You don't want to be the star of the show, so to speak. You want to have everything dialed in and ready to go. If you're launching with a buddy, you can your buddy can just drop you straight down and you can go right off, and that's obviously a lot easier to do it that way. But when you're by yourself, just being careful, taking your time. It's nothing wrong with taking your time and going about it slow. People that are waiting in line to get on the lake, they'll appreciate you doing it right the first time and not getting stuck. So don't rush. Probably a pretty good idea to stick some fenders on your boat, because you've got a nice investment there, your new boat, and you want to keep it in as good a shape as you can. So get a couple of fenders out and secure them to the cleats on the side of the boat. That way when you come up to dock the boat, if you have a little bit of wind or chop or boat traffic, the wake from other boats and from the wind and so on won't damage your boat. So adding a couple of fenders on the side is a good idea to protect the gel coat of your boat. And again, if you're fishing by yourself, make sure you have some rope, some good strong rope that you can tie yourself off, and go move your car and park your car. If you got a partner, your partner can hang on to that for you and keep it tied down. You just want to make sure that boat's secured. Nothing worse than coming back and finding your boat floating out there in the middle of the marina. That's a little embarrassing. Recovering your boat is one of the things that it can be challenging, especially when you have a lot of weekend traffic on the ramp.
What I like to do is I like to again get my vehicle up and get it nice in the line so it's straight. And then I like to back it down, and I like to back it down so I get the boards all the way under the water. Okay. Now, when I get the boards under the water, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of getting them wet. And my way of thinking is that when I do that, it makes them a little more slick, and it allows the boat to slide up the boards when I recover the boat. Probably a good idea to get out and just to check. Sometimes you got a blind spot and you can't see too well. To see if you're where you want to be. In this situation, I think I'm going to probably want to come back a little bit because I'm a little far out. Looking in the mirrors, if I can see the front fenders, that tells me I'm in pretty good shape. But now I have the boards wet, so they're slick. The boat should slide right up on it real easily. Again, I'm by myself, so I'm gonna turn off the engine. I'm gonna put the vehicle in park, and come over and recover the boat. There's a lot of traffic on the water today. You just come in nice and slow. You just got to get the nose of the boat in between those two boards, and it'll just kind of glide on up there. Some guys you'll see power the boat all the way up. I think you get it up to about right where it is, and then you can come and just crank it the rest of the way up. I feel like that helps me get it on there straight. Again, I'm going to unplug the trolling motor so I don't severely injure myself if that were to suddenly kick on for some reason. Seen that happen. And because I got those boards nice and wet, boat slips on a lot easier. I'm able just to kind of crank it up there with the crank. Last thing we do is trim the engine up because we don't want to drag the skag on the damage the lower unit on the ramp when we're coming out. Boat's still moving a little bit, but you'll see it'll settle right down where it's supposed to be when you come out. And again, no need to rush anything here. Just take your time and come straight out. I think one thing also to remember when you're pulling out, there's all kinds of stuff going on at the ramp, especially into the day when you're coming out of the water. You got people walking around, you got other boaters. Everybody's kind of living in their own world. They're all kind of focused on themselves. Some people are putting their boats in, some people taking their boats out. You got to be really, really on alert.
Well, I hope that helps you understand a little bit about the things to look for when you're launching a boat. A lot of it's going to be trial and error, but we're trying to take some of the error out of your trials. Couple tips. First of all, when you get your boat out, get it up on the trailer, come over to your kill switch and make sure that it is in the off position. When you have that in the off position, you won't have to worry about the engine accidentally getting kicked over and somebody getting really seriously injured. Always keep that kill switch off when you're trailering your boat and putting it in your garage and so on. You can tell by all the boats behind me, all the trailers behind me, it's a pretty busy day out here. And I would say that on your maiden voyage, if you're taking your boat out for the first time, probably a Sunday in Southern California during the summertime is not a good time to do it. It's a mess out here. There's a lot of funny things going on. Fortunately today we weren't part of that. Oh, and by the way, thanks for watching.